Guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to do JK stuff. I haven't done anything to the JK in a while. Gonna need to put the hard top back on it for winter and stuff like that. But today we're going to put a new exhaust on the JK. I haven't got into heavily modifying this vehicle yet, and I don't know when I might, but you know, it just needed something for me to enjoy driving it just a little bit more. It's really fun to drive. I really like driving the Jeep almost as much as my TJ, but it needs a little more edge to it, so I did buy some exhaust. The exhaust I bought is not going to be the final exhaust, but it was super cheap and I couldn't pass it up for a quick fix while I design what I'll actually want for the exhaust. Now, as you can see on the JK, the rear exhaust hangs down pretty low in the back. That's where the gas tank would normally be on like a TJ. And it is a massive muffler. Now, my final draft of this exhaust is going to be nothing back here. This is going to be empty, and I'll have either a very small muffler back here with a single exit, or I'll put an inline muffler with a single exit over here. This one is not that. This one replaces this as is and comes out dual exhaust. Again, it was super cheap, like 90 bucks shipped. I figured I'd give it a shot while I'm trying to figure out exactly how I want to do the other muffler. So let me get a tape measure. We're going to measure the clearance here and we are going to see what this thing sounds like stock. So this thing has about 18 inches of ground clearance. 17 and a half, 18 inches of ground clearance. I don't anticipate picking up a lot of ground clearance with this next exhaust I'm putting on, but you never know. Now let's see what the stock exhaust sounds like. All right, so all you can hear is the engine noise from up front. I don't know how that sounded like back here. It couldn't have sounded good. So guys, here's what I received. It is a standard axle back muffler, probably not a whole lot smaller than the one that's on there, which is a little bit of a bummer because I'm going to eventually go to a smaller muffler that doesn't take up as much room. I may even move the muffler, but regardless, this is what I've got right now. So Dynomax muffler came with some really nice heavy duty exhaust tips. They have some weight to them. They're polished. I'm going to leave those. But the biggest complaint about this is that in rough climates, it does tend to rust. I'm in the south, so I don't have to worry about that. But I also didn't want a big shiny hunk of metal hanging out underneath the Jeep, so I'm going to paint it both for protection and to kind of make it blend in a little bit. So I'm going to paint it black. I've got some high heat black paint and some high heat primer. I've already scuffed this up with some 300 grit, a 300 grit block. And now I'm just going to paint it real quick. They do make high heat paint, obviously. Just go to the auto parts store, you'll find it. You'll figure it out. So here's the Dynomax muffler after I painted it. The only thing I don't like about this muffler so far is that the exits are really close together, which means they're going to be like right here on each side of this receiver. And I'd rather them be spaced out more out here. But again, for $96 shipped, beggars can't be choosers. All right, so it didn't come with any real instructions, but I don't know that we're gonna need any. Looks like we'll need to take this clamp off. And once we do that, the muffler's just up there on these hangers. That will probably be the hardest part, is getting those hangers off. I will go get some soapy water to help lube that up a little bit, and we'll see if we can pop those hangers off with some channel lock pliers or something like that. Once the hangers get popped off and that's loose, the whole thing will just drop out. So these are going to be a pain. Let me go get some soapy water. And if you're never going to reuse your stock exhaust or sell it, just cut them right here. I don't know if I'm going to ever reuse it, so I'm not going to cut it. And I just realized, I don't think that clearance indent's supposed to be there. I think maybe the bump stops aren't where they need to be. Don't know. All right, hopefully you can see this. The easiest way to get this one off was to use a big pry bar and pry it against the muffler like that and just push it off. Now that that's off, if I can get this wiggled off back here, then the other one I can probably get popped out of there. All right, that one over there was a bitch. All right, there's the difference, and it is quite a difference. Weight, that's definitely a lot heavier. Well, let's get the obligatory no muffler start out of the way. I could certainly see how that drone would be deafening going down the highway, and I understand why everyone talks about the drone aspect when they just remove their muffler. You would have to have it coming all the way out and exiting out the back. It's just too much rattling around under there. All right, so let's get that one into place. Ooh, that went in a whole lot easier than it came out. Put the driver's side in first. It's easier if you do that. Put the passenger side in, the driver's side you ain't gonna get. Make sure you put this clamp on before you put the muffler on. That way you don't have to, take it back down. So now I'll just make sure it's up there snug. As far as it'll go, it should have a stop right here anyway. And I will make sure it's centered, get the tape measure back out. And then of course, there's not a lot I can do to recenter it, but and then I'll run that clamp up, and then we'll be ready to put our tips on. All right guys, she is done. So all I used, of course I used my drill driver and a regular ratchet, but the only socket I needed was a 15. I used a pry bar and some channel locks and a medium-sized extension. I put two small extensions together. So now is the moment of truth. Let's crank her up. I hate to be a homer about it, but that actually sounds real good. I can't hear it a lot from inside the cabin. I'm sure with the top down, you'd be able to hear it, which is satisfying. I just noticed that tip needs to be turned just slightly clockwise. I like it. Now let's measure and see if we gained any ground clearance. We obviously didn't gain any ground clearance on the tips, which now sit just below my hitch, which that's bad, but let's see if I gained any right behind the axle. Half an inch. So from a ground clearance standpoint, it does not help you a bit. Probably hinders you more than anything, because now the pipes stick down a little bit lower. I do like the black. I'm glad I painted that black. And with just a little bit of tweaking, you could tuck this up a little bit. Not too much though, because it does slightly make contact with the heat shield, which I'm a little worried with rattling there, but I'll let y'all know if that happens. All in all, what I would prefer is to have this muffler flat, kind of like the stock one, and that would gain you about 3 or 4 inches of ground clearance, and then have the pipes come right out, right underneath the bumper, which would maintain that ground clearance. But for $97 shipped, I'm pretty pumped about it. It does look good. The tips are actually really nice tips for the money, double walled. So guys, there you have it, Dynomax JK axle back kit. Super cheap, probably the cheapest kit on the market from a name brand. I have Dynomax on my TJ. I really like it. On the TJ, it just sounds awesome. Of course, it's a lot shorter wheelbase, and you can hear it a lot better. But this one sounds good too. I'm still going to change it up. All right, guys, going in the first drive, and you can tell the exhaust is louder, but it's with the hardtop on, it's not really, you can't really tell once you get up to speed, just accelerating. At 60 miles an hour, it sounds just like it did stock pretty much with the hardtop on. Coming up to a stop, let me roll down the window and see if you can hear it. All right. Honestly, I can hear my MTRs over the exhaust, so from a driving sound, it's not going to be any different. Again, it sounds a little bit different on the outside. With the top down and the back window out, I'm sure you'd be able to actually hear it, but all in all, I don't really hear much. So here it is at idle. I mean, you don't really hear anything. So here's my final thoughts on this kit. It is extremely affordable. If you live in a non-harsh climate like I do, it's probably going to last forever, or at least for several years. If you want the dual tip look, this is a good kit. If you are looking to gain a lot of ground clearance, probably not the best kit. It does lighten up a little bit in the back. It is more compact than the stock exhaust, and it doesn't look as bulky and as ugly as the stock exhaust. So it's a good looking kit. If you want a kit that's awfully quiet, but then gives you just a little bit of growl when you need it, good kit. If you're looking for that really aggressive tone, this isn't the kit. If you already have off-road tires, then you're probably not going to hear a lot of the exhaust going down the road over your tires anyway. And if you have a hardtop Jeep, you're not going to hear it at all. I'm sure in the summertime with the top down, it'll probably be a lot louder, especially if I'm off-road and generating any RPMs at speed. So all in all, I'm happy with it. I'm not going to keep it though. I am going to use it for probably 6 months to a year, and I am going to switch to a single bullet style exhaust on the driver's side. It goes out to a single exit to go ahead and get all the ground clearance back, and maybe just a little bit more aggressive tone. It didn't drone at all at 60 miles an hour, so the people saying it drones, I didn't hear that. It might be because I have a hard top, maybe they have a soft top, I don't know. But for a 45-minute install, can't complain. So guys, I hope this gave you good information on this particular kit, and if you liked the video, please hit the like button, please subscribe. Check back for more videos. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.